got my notes all wrote down here. Get a pen, get this wrote down. My dad's from the city, St. Louis, Missouri. My mom is from the country, Napton, Missouri. Population 100. I personally pronounce it Missouri, and I never had much of an accent. But when I left Missouri, I started to notice things I was doing that were different from what other people were doing, like saying get instead of get, or pen instead of pen. So for those of you following at home, make sure and get a pen so you can write this down. My mom's accent is a little more pronounced than mine, but it was particularly pronounced at the house in Napton where we spent a lot of time growing up, where my grandmother and grandfather lived. Grandma was old-fashioned, and she would be known to burn the trash. So you might say something like, "Grandma, you can't burn the trash, but if you want, I'll take it into town when I go to do the wash." My whole family is musicians. My brothers and I would play a lot for family gatherings, and whenever Grandma wanted us to play some music, she would say, "I sure would like to hear some music from you boys." And when we played, she'd be tickled. She was awfully tickled by our playing, and that of course means amused. You can also be plum tickled, as in our music plum tickled Grandma. In her later years, I noticed there was an expression she used when something surprising or funny happened, maybe something the baby did, and she would say, "Oh, good night." She was a Baptist and lived very clean, and so she wouldn't ever utter an expletive. She also wouldn't say, "Well, I swear," because that was evidently too close to actually swearing, so she'd say, "Well, I'll swan," like the bird swan. So I wanted to put together a little mini monologue, a couple sentences full of Missouri-isms, and I reached out to my Missouri family, and they sent in a lot of ideas and also suggested I mention that these are not necessarily specific to Missouri or mid-Missouri or rural mid-Missouri, but these are things that I heard growing up and spending some time in rural mid-Missouri. So to give you a little taste of my childhood, I put together a mini monologue for you so that you too can learn to speak Missouri. I aimed to go fishing with you Sunday, but I had company, and we were visiting, and I plumb forgot. But I tell you what, get you a pole, let's us go fishing. So I got lots of great responses from my Missouri family, and I'm going to read some honorable mention here. So you can say might as well or may as well for should, as in, I'm awake, so I may as well get up. And my brother, it's from my mom, my brother pointed out also just as well as. I'm awake, so I just as well as get up. On the subject of Missouri versus Missouri, my mom writes, I think I grew up saying Missouri and changed to E when I left home for more urban areas. When people ask how I pronounce it, I tell them you'll have to listen and see what pops out. Right quick means quickly, as in, get a pen right quick and write this down. There's also right quick like, as in, I'm gonna go make a video right quick like. To beat the devil, I said this recently and my friends were like, what are you talking about? It's raining to beat the devil. I thought everybody said that. Plumb, so my mom defines plumb as completely, as in, I'm plumb wore out. Which is great too because it uses the wrong tense of the verb to wear. And that reminds me of something my old scoutmaster used to say. Yep, I got it wrote down. Got it wrote down right here. Hide nor hair, a trace or evidence. As in, I haven't seen hide nor hair of him. And it's hide nor hair, but it's hide nor hair. Hide nor hair of him. I like how my mom defines these. If it had been a snake, it would have bit me. Finding something you were looking for that was near you all the while. Oh, found it. If it was a snake, it would have bit me. And my brother Greg says, hunting for everything. If you're looking for something, if you need to find something, you go hunting for it. Oh, I better go hunting for that flashlight. Grab the flashlight, we gotta go hunting in the garage. Also, a rummage sale was a garage sale or a yard sale. Rummage sale, because you rummage through all the stuff. The sofa was the divan, and lunch is called dinner, and dinner is called supper. And as far as I know, there is no such thing as lunch. So you'd be sitting around at about 1:45, and people would be saying, well, we're going to get ready for dinner. And you're like, what? It's only noon. Get ready for dinner? Nope. Dinner is the noon meal, supper is the evening meal, breakfast, dinner, supper. So that's it. Now you're ready to speak Missouri. And that's just all there is to it.